Hi guys, welcome back to Fries with Patel, and today we have someone super special, a pioneer in content creation, if I should say so myself.
You shouldn't say so. But thank you.
You know, when Reels and all started, like you were like the first person that we woke up to every day.
Oh my god, you're welcome.
It's actually crazy how far you've come, and like the journey that you've had as a content creator has been so inspiring, because there are so many people that I know who are content creators who want to be like actors, you know, they get into it so that they can go into acting, and like not everybody like does it as well as you do.
Yeah, not at all. I just started. So like it's...
No, but seriously, like the kind of stuff that you've already done before, that shows like the kind of prowess that you had, you know, and I'm so excited to watch your movie tonight.
Thank you, better.
Yeah.
I'll call you, and if you say, oh, actually,
I'll
like,
give you
I was a
Perissa
little
feedback.
bit... Thank you. Perissa paare. Rumba Perissa irukkum. Pada.
Okay, so I actually have like this question. So
You have an answer.
Yeah. That's how this works.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
because we're in a podcast.
Because it's a podcast. Yeah, I've never done one before. So do I let you speak in this?
Yeah, this,
okay.
like the question.
Okay. It's okay.
The question part. So,
yeah.
So I know that you started off doing with like these long format sketches, right? And it was with Vineet and Nasser and with Jordan Indian.
Yeah.
And I want to know how you guys like got in touch and started making these videos, because I'm seeing there's like crores of views on it. I'm like, that's crazy.
I think I started off on YouTube when I was 16, and I met Beep and Vineet and Nas. I think 17, 18 at YouTube Fan Fest. Actually, we had like a you know how YouTube calls us to these like camp things in Bombay. We did that, but we didn't really get along. We were really awkward with each other. And then at Fan Fest we met, and randomly they were like, hey, do you want to make a video together? And I was also like a college kid, and I was like, I don't know how this works. Chumma was making videos, and they're like, you want to make a video together? And I was like, oh, how? Sure, I guess. And the first video we made together was called Savage Moms. And I just want to say I was 19 playing a mom to like 28, 29-year-olds at the time.
Very like something
Just
that they would
saying.
do in movies, so you had like good practice.
Yeah, no, please. I'm not trying to look for mom roles. But we did that, and then that video did too well, okay? Like, we couldn't believe how that video did. And then we just started working together. Like, of course, we would make standalone videos on our respective channels, but we would just enjoy, shit talking and like being around each other. So we made a lot of videos. That was on full era. And I think till the end of college I did that. And when I moved is when we kind of stopped.
So you are someone who's like super studious.
Research you've done, Rinka.
Yeah.
Okay.
ICSE, 90% and all. Girl, I studied the same syllabus. I don't know how you did it.
Girl, what am I doing with it now, though?
What are we doing with it?
Exactly, so it doesn't matter if we got 90 or whatever. But if y'all are still in school, study.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything with it. But it was good. I truly still believe that education is still important, because we're also in such a tumultuous industry that today you're relevant, tomorrow you're not, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like having a solid backup where you're like, okay, if not this, I still have academics to rely on, is always like a good thing. So I fully completed education before my parents said, okay, now follow your dreams.
So you did like YouTube side by side at that time, like, and what were your like parents like saying?
Because I started so young, the concept of creators and YouTube was really new, and creator economy wasn't even a thing. Nobody was getting paid for doing anything. This was just chumma time pass on the side. And I think I would watch a lot of like Western creators, and I would be obsessed with them, and I would really enjoy what they did. And nobody in India was really doing much on YouTube at the time because it was so new.
Yeah. I also think there's another reason for that YouTube would just like push these videos to us.
Yeah, they would really push it down our throats, right? And I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Which is why I have a career now because of those videos. And I think Chumma I started doing honestly. Like the first 2-3 videos, I didn't even make it to upload on YouTube. I actually made it for kicks because I used to watch these videos and I was like, I'll just make these for kicks and send it to my friends and family. So I would send it on a WhatsApp group. Or like Facebook, I would post in that closed family group. Then this one time I had dengue and I was sick, and my best friend Aisha David, she posted the video on YouTube without me knowing. And that video did really well. I think it did 1 million at the time, like in 2015, in like 2 days. And it was a fresh channel, first video. And of course it got mixed comments because it was so new.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I like that one video. AIB at the time was blowing up,
Yeah.
and Tanmay Bhatt found me through that one video. And as a little 16-year-old being found by one of the top comics at the time and being validated by him, and he was like, dude, keep at it, like you should, you know, I really see you making it big. And I was like, Vandita, like what would I make it big? It's not even a thing. And yeah, and then I guess I just never looked back. But then I quit after engineering. I quit YouTube. I quit social media actually, because I just felt like it's not a consistent source of income. And
I heard
like,
you're also a perfectionist when it comes to writing these.
Oh,
Kids.
did you talk to Viraj?
Yeah.
Okay. I would really put too much pressure on myself. And with college, my parents they cut me a deal where they were just like, if you want to do these videos, you have to get a certain score. And as
Okay.
long as these scores are consistent, you can do this time pass thing.
Okay.
So I would come home, I would go to college, come home, spend all night like shooting, like when they're asleep, because audio can't be disturbed, you know.
Oh.
I don't want sound in my thing. And I would do all of that, and then after a while it got exhausting because I was a one-woman team, right? Like
Yeah.
I would write, shoot, I'm the light guy, camera guy, makeup guy, everything.
Too exhausting.
So yeah, and when I moved abroad for masters, like I just didn't have the bandwidth anymore, and I was like, okay, I had a good time, and I quit on a high. Like when I was about to peak on YouTube, I was like, okay, I'm out of here. Yeah.
Because going to the US, you probably would have had like a different, environment. You could have made
Yeah.
like videos quite differently over there. Like you never thought about like making YouTube videos over there.
No, dude, I was exhausted. I feel like, because I was on YouTube for what, 4 years at the time, and they'll call you underrated until you make it, then they'll call you overrated. So in the underrated phase, like after a point, I just found it exhausting, and it was very high effort, low return for YouTube. 12 minute videos where I'm shooting for 10 hours, I'm editing for another 16, and then I also have college. And when I moved there, I know how much money goes into education abroad, so I wanted to do one thing at a time and not be distracted. So I fully focused on academics because I know I'm good at it and I can make something out of it. This was dicey. So I was like, maybe not. Like, let's not gamble with my future. So I fully quit. Clean break.
That's funny that you said that, because you quit Google.
I didn't quit Google. I didn't take their offer because
which is the same thing, ma'am.
I just didn't take their offer because that's when I came back to India. This was like during COVID, like when the Reels thing happened, and I started making content again because of my manager Viraj. Actually, there was this one intense phone call where he was like, dude, like I understand you want to quit social media. This is 2 years after I quit.
So wait, take me to like how all of this is happening.
Okay, so I quit YouTube, I move abroad, I'm doing my masters, I am having a great time, I'm fully focused on one thing. Bam, COVID hits, right? Like now I'm locked inside my house, and now everything is online. Then TikTok, actually TikTok was blowing up at the time, and Viraj goes, dude, you should make TikTok videos, okay? So I was like, hey, no, it's not for me. I'm done with the
Just a
whole
long
social media
format
creator
YouTuber.
thing. No, I was also done, right? I was fully done. I was like, no, content only is not for me anymore. Like, I had a good time. Now I'm just moving on. Then he was like, no, just try TikTok. It'll take barely any time. You can literally just like write a caption, put a song, and like, make a relatable caption, whatever. And one TikTok video I uploaded. Next day, TikTok got banned in India, okay? And I was like, this is a sign from the heavens that this is not for me. And I was like, what else? Like, what else do you think this is? This is truly a sign. It's
Are you
like,
superstitious?
No, but that day I was. Like, I was like, if this is not a sign, I don't know what is. Like, the one video I upload after 2 years, the platform only got banned. I'm sorry for all TikTokers. It's me. It's not you. And I kind of laughed about it because I'm like, there's no way they banned a whole platform a day after I've uploaded a video, right? And I laughed about it to Viraj, and he was like, tough luck, man. Okay, I guess we'll see, whatever. Then Reels becomes a feature in a week because Instagram's quick like that. And he was like, now upload Reel. And I was like, dude, I don't want to take away more careers by uploading something and getting a full platform banned. And there was like a back and forth thing where I really didn't want to, and I didn't know what to do, like short form, because I'm such a long format girl at this point.
Yeah.
That I don't know how to tell a joke or speak my mind in 15 seconds. At the time it was 15 seconds. I'm like, what will I say before I build the premise? The time is over. And at the time they were all doing like the musically stuff on Reels as well. So I was like, I don't know. I can't do this. And he pushed. And then we had a deal where he was like, here's the thing, give me 10 videos at your own pace. And then if they don't work out for you, I will never bother you again. Okay. And I was like, you promise? And this was a huge argument. And then I was like, okay, fine. I'll give you 10. If something monumental doesn't happen, you will never ask me again.
Pause. Viraj is a manager, by the way.
Yeah. Viraj is my manager. He's been managing me since I was 16 and he was 18.
They go way back.
Yeah. Now he's a full founder with a full company and, 100 talents. But I was number one actually when he was a child. I was the lab rat basically, the guinea pig, where he was like, I'll bring you brand deal. I was like, why will brand give me deal? I make YouTube videos, So that happened, 10 videos. I gave him 9 and then nothing crazy happened. Okay. It was, getting some attention, but I really didn't want to do it. So the 10th one, he was like, you promised me one more. And I'm like, what would the one do that these 9 didn't do? And I think it was 3 a.m. and he called me 3 a.m. my time there. And he was like, you said one video, just stick to your words and like put one up. And it was a huge fight. I'm actually really toning this down, the delivery. And I put that one video up, which, cause I didn't want to get out of my bed. I put a princess filter on and I spoke to the camera, P2C, which I never did before. I only made skits. And I upload it, I turn off my phone and I go to bed because I'm like, oh, I'm so done. Like, I don't have to do this anymore. I wake up and it's blown up. Just that one video, right? And then all the other 10 get traction. And I think overnight, we went from 70K to 100K. And this was October 16th. And by December 16th, we were at 1 million. There was a point where Viraj and I would just refresh my page to see the numbers just go up like that. And we couldn't believe it. Like, we couldn't believe what was happening.
Dude, it must have been like a casino.
Dude, truly. It was also scary because we were like, what is going on? Because I grew up on the internet and I've never seen growth like that for myself.
Yeah.
And to see that on a different platform that I never even ventured into was kind of insane. And I didn't know what to do with myself actually.
From what I collected, Viraj said like you went from like 70K to like 1 million within like a week.
No. 70K to 100K overnight and then 100K to 1 million in exactly like a month or two. I think a month. I'm not sure. Actually, it was insane. It was insane. Like, even Instagram was like, what is going on? Like how is this happening? And we were like, I don't know, you tell us. Like, we don't.
That is like,
it was truly God's grace, dude. Like, I feel like having been on the internet for so long, I know a lot of people are talented and a lot of people work hard. But like, sometimes it's just a stroke of divine intervention that,
Truly.
Yeah.
Okay, you got this like huge number and then you have this offer and you're still in the US at this point?
Yeah. I'm still midway through my master's actually.
Okay.
So, because I was doing a double degree, like I had to still, complete it. And I wasn't carried away by this because I've been on the internet for so long that I know that you can't get carried away by these numbers because today they mean something, but tomorrow they won't. So I said, yeah, cool. I'll do this on the side, but I'm still doing this because I've spent way too much time and energy. So I completed my degree and I flew back to India once the COVID, restriction was lifted. And I actually flew back a week earlier because Yash sir, who was in KGF, KGF was releasing at the time and they wanted to do a collab. And I had, collabs weren't really a thing.
Exactly.
Then, and I was so confused because I'm like, what can I do with him? Because I don't know what to do. And we came up with something and we didn't end up shooting it. And on the spot, we did whatever we did, the video that's out there. It did wonders. And then more unreachable childhood icons of mine suddenly wanted to make videos with me. And I, for a second, thought they were crazy because what can I give you that you don't already have, right? And then, here we are.
I want to know how you convince them to do anything. Like, I genuinely do want to know because I know what it's like, to like go and say, hey, I have an idea, to someone who's like, the power dynamic is different. When you're speaking to them itself, it's like, you're on a different level and I'm on a different level. There's not really much I can say.
I've actually never struggled with it because I feel like whoever I've made videos with, they've come like samne se. Like I haven't pitched or I haven't like asked to be a part of it because it was so new at that time. And they would see, for example, one of the stars saw the Yash sir video and they wanted a video like that. So they're like, what can you write that's like this? And I'm like, I can't write something like this for your film because your film is different. How about this? And I send a script in advance. And if they like the vibe, they say okay. And on set, I feel like, dude, every single person is so open to do whatever I say. If I say, sir, at this point you giggle, they giggle. And if I say, okay, at this point you're shy. I just, even with A.R. Rahman sir, I really was, I'm going to talk about the most recent one because it'll be, you know, on the top of your mind. Everybody was like, okay, he's going to be really serious. Like, you know, you have to open him up and. Absolutely not. Like, he was so chill. He was like, what do you want me to do? And I'm like, you need to be mean to me. And he just wouldn't be mean to me, right? Like, even though I'm singing really badly, he wouldn't be mean to me. After a point, I was like, sir, you have to be mean to me. Like, how can you do this? And I'm fully throwing a fit. And, he was like, okay, ma, what do you want? Like, tell me what you want, I do. So it was just, I feel like if you just, I don't know, treat them like a person.
Exactly.
And they match your vibe.
Yeah.
And if they really want to be there, they'll, if they're forced into the collab by like, you know, a production house or like whatever, then the energy might be different. But if they truly want to be there, they'll bring it. They'll bring their own energy. I haven't had to convince any of them.
So A.R. Rahman sir goes on these like live streams. I don't know if you watched them, but he's so chill on them. Like he'll just select people randomly, like, and he'll take their requests. And like I remember this like on the top of my head because it's like the funniest thing I've ever seen on the internet. A.R. Rahman sir is on top. Okay, he's on the live stream.
Okay,
this guy,
I'm already laughing. I don't even know what it is. Yeah,
this random girl gets like accepted.
Okay, by mistake or he's accepted it. Okay,
He does this on like a weekly, monthly basis. Okay?
I should also try my luck. Be like, sir, we made a video together. You should accept me.
I always sit on it and I'm like, request.
He accepted you. Oh shit! I thought that's how the story was going. Okay. Boo. Okay. Yeah.
So this random girl gets like accepted. Okay. She's in shock, like full shock, of course. And she's going up to her sleeping mom. She's like, Amma,
and her mom's not believing it.
Her mom's like pouring.
No way. And sir's just watching this whole thing
watching
happen.
it unfold. And he's just smiling like, he's patient, he's waiting. He's like waiting. He's like, I'll wait till your mom gets up.
But he just does this for kicks. Dude, he's such a chill guy. I love it. He's such a chiller.
Yeah, he is. He really is. I love him. I love him so much.
That's awesome. I think my biggest fear is sending a live request when I'm like on the pot. Because I'm so not dressed when I'm watching an Instagram live thing. You know, I'm never in a position to actually go on a live stream.
True.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We should do that. We should just accept random people. And see
we
how
should,
it goes.
Yeah. And that
I've done that before and it's really awkward actually because they'll send requests but when you accept it they're confused, okay? And I'm like, did you not know that you volunteered to be here? Did I like force you or what is going on, right? Because they're so like, and I'm like, hi, hello. And I can't say things like, you're a fan or what? Like, that's so lame, right? So I'm like, so hi. And they'll also be like, hi, what's your name? They'll just answer whatever I'm asking. They won't say anything. So after a point, I'm like, okay, bye. And they're like, oh, okay. And it's just the most awkward interactions of my life on like live streams. So I just like refuse to go live now.
Oh, I've never gone
can't do
live.
it. You should.
No.
Like if you wanna, like if you feel like you're having a bad day.
It'll make my day worse.
Yes, that's my point. Like you just know that there are worse things in life.
Yeah, I should keep humbling myself. You know, we should go on live streams to just humble ourselves.
No, dude, I've been there, done that. I'm so humbled. Like I'm under the ground now. I'm so grounded. I don't need to. It makes me anxious, you know. And I'm so good with people. I'd like to believe it at least. I really enjoy talking to people. But on live stream, it's like you're talking to a wall, and they only volunteer. I'm like, why you called if you don't want to talk? You're looking like I paid you to be on this, and you're not even doing a good job at it. Like, just act like you love me, no? When you come on the live stream, oh my god, I love little bit because people are watching. Like, act little bit. Stop. Just stop it.
I also want to know, What is your actual mother tongue?
My mother tongue is Telugu. I was born in Chennai though, and my parents lived in Chennai for 15 years. And her Maika, like her mom's house, my grandmom's house was in Chennai, so she gave birth to me here. And I was raised in Bangalore, which is why the Tamil, Telugu,
Yeah, I knew
Kannada.
you were from Bangalore.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the second you know like some 10 languages,
Yeah.
bro. Like everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody in Bangalore speaks multiple. Then I learned Hindi when I started living in Bombay now.
Yeah.
अब तो अपन ऐसी बात करेगी.
Wow,
Very
what a
gully boy
wow.
Hindi. Apparently women don't speak like that, but क्या कर लेगा?
Wow, I like it.
Oh, you like it? I don't understand Gen Z expressions because I feel like by mistake I was Gen Z. But these people who are actually born in the core of Gen Z, I don't get it. Like I
No,
feel
but it
like
was really good. It was hot.
stop it.
Najma, I was like,
Thanks.
wait, why is she kinda,
Why sh-
why is she kinda?
the way that a man has never said that to me. Could have had a ring on this finger by now.
It's okay. இது பெருசா தான் இருக்கு.
ரொம்பவே பெருசா இருக்கு.
Okay. Why is it because you want to plug the film or like?
I know you will do it for me, so I'm not really trying to.
Good.
Perusu March 14th. It's out in theaters, so in case you want to watch it. Yeah, what were we talking about? Life.
Talking about life.
Yeah.
Yes. But you flew down and then everybody else like just keeps
Yeah,
coming.
we did a bunch of collabs and then you know it was still we could keep up the same engagement rate a year and a half after the first initial blow up and the paycheck that the corporate job was giving was compared to what I understood that I could make because creator economy blew up since I started.
Thank you.
Oh my god, no, like I mean since
No.
the time I started, how it
I'm
was
saying thank you because you need to get this.
yeah.
Mainstream media doesn't like really want to, at least back then, they never really wanted to be part of like, the YouTube space. Or
True.
a lot of them never really want to mix. Like it was like there was an apprehension,
Yeah.
you know.
There's a
And
hierarchy.
There is. And no, people don't talk about it, but there is a hierarchy.
There is a hierarchy, yeah.
And when a creator gets to do something with them, and especially if it's like written by you, done by you, everything's like it's literally shot, directed. Like it might be done by someone else, but you're telling them how to do it, right? And getting them to integrate with like the creator space is a big deal. And doing it in your own way and putting your own creative spin to it is another big deal, you know. And you were one of the very first people to do it on like short form, you know. So like everything like that we see right now is what snowballed off of your thing, you know. People saw that, dude, like yeah, the creators can provide like value to us as well, and we could work together. And like right now, like this very moment, I am seeing movies with like creators in it. Like every other movie, like Dragon has creators in it, Neek has creators in it. You're in a movie and you're a creator, and all of this snowballed from all of that, you know. And for me to like ever sit down and think about talking to other people on a podcast, you know, it would have never happened if like that didn't ever happen. You know, someone had to do it and you did it.
Oh my god.
No,
Stop.
Nejamma.
You're gonna make me emotional and cry now.
No, Nejamma. Like I sat down and I
Sad.
thought about it like the whole of last night. Like nobody does it so tastefully as well, you know.
The internet can be a tough place to
Yeah.
crack, and I've been through it, I promise you, and I still go through it in waves. Like when you're on the internet, people do have their opinions, but I just think dude, honestly, it wasn't calculated or anything, and as a creator, it's always an uphill battle. Like no matter how much you prove yourself, every room you enter, you still have to prove yourself, and it can get exhausting, and I sometimes truly feel it. But when you've come a long way, you're like, oh, I might as well just like
Keep going.
keep fighting, you know, because going back just seems harder. So it is tough because there is a hierarchy in entertainment. There is a way they look at creators, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of people think I don't know, they look down upon it a little bit, but y'all are watching it. Y'all are still watching it. It's because of you creators exist, right? If y'all just didn't watch, if y'all didn't engage, nobody would have, you know, these careers. But I think public figures are just easy to hate on. And also, like, if I was in an office, like, kind of working and I'm really working hard for like 10 to 12 hours, and I have a horrible boss, and I'm getting paid the bare minimum. My work is not being credited. And then you open your Instagram, you see one influencer being like, and making like lakhs off of it. I would be pissed too, honestly. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But I've made my peace with the fact that you can't pick and choose what
You get.
you take away from this. Like if you're going to get love for what you do just for kicks, you should be okay, unfortunately, even with the hate. Like you can't not be okay, but you will get it, and you just have to learn to deal with it. A lot of people say you have to have thick skin. You're human at the end of the day, dude. You'll feel like shit when people say shit about you.
Yeah.
And you'll feel horrible when random people you've never even interacted with have so many horrible things to say about you, and all you've made is one dance video. But it's okay, they're still watching you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There is a point where you have to like convince your parents that like, man, you spend all this money on me and I'm gonna make videos on the internet.
Yeah.
And what sold it to them?
So, I couldn't sell it to them, which is why I have 3 degrees. I really couldn't sell it to them. And I think finally when the paycheck here was bigger than the paycheck there, I was like, yo, now logically tell me which one. Then they were like, okay. And also I feel like they were sure they'd let me do whatever I want to do, but after I've completed
Whatever was required.
everything. Yeah. After that, like you finish your masters, then even then if you still want to do this, then you do, because we always want you to have a very solid backup. So yeah, then it was an easy sell. Once I did everything they wanted to, now they're like, now follow your dreams. After 10 years of following theirs, you know.
It is fluctuating, right? Like, when you're a creator, it's not like you get paid every month.
Yeah.
You know, some months you don't get shit, and some months you do. And they didn't question that. They were just like, okay, chill, whatever. Because I get that a lot from my parents. They're just like, girl, just like, shut up and study.
No, of course they would question it, which is why I only did it on the side. I never jumped fully into content as my full-time job. It was always on the side when I was studying, and I think when the income became stable and I knew that I will get this much work for this month I will make this much, and when I sort of had that stability is when I jumped into it. So I started when I was 16 and I got fully into it at 23.
Oh, wow.
So all those years I always did it on the side. I never fully jumped into it because financially also, passion, yeah, like we all have to follow our passion, but passion won't feed you at night. You know, bread and butter. You can't put passion on your bread and eat it for dinner. So I think it's extremely important to be little financially smart before you make that jump. Which is why I would never tell anybody to quit their job to jump into content creation until you're so sure that you'll make enough for you and your family if needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth the instability that it brings. Do it on the side. Do it because it's your passion. Don't do it for money. And when you've hit a certain point, the money will come.
But what I'm trying to say is that like when you go from studying and doing it on the side, your day is like rationed out, you know.
Yeah.
You have like shit to do at
College
and yeah, just like stuff in the morning and stuff in the evening, and that one time when the sunlight is right, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's all like in your head. There's like this order of like
Yeah.
what happens next, you know. And once you get into it full time, it gets a bit tricky.
Yes.
And
I think I was better off when I did it part-time because my brain knew what to do and how to compartmentalize time and emotions. Once I got into it full-time, I felt like I took my time for granted actually.
same.
The lesser time I had, the better I performed, and the more time I had, the weaker I got in terms of how I would manage time, and I would also burn out much faster than I did when I was juggling multiple things. I don't know. I think because it's the idea of being your own boss is fun, but when you actually are your own boss, you're not accountable to yourself sometimes.
She's a bad boss.
Yeah, I'm a horrible boss.
Toxic as hell.
Yeah. Because I think 90% of the comments on any video I've ever uploaded is, why you took so long to upload video? Because I just inconsistency, right? And even though it was full time.
Yeah.
Because there's just so much pressure now of what the next video should be. And if it doesn't work, then I'm like sad about it for like 1 month. like I've made one film and I've invested whatever, one reel, next. Usually creators are like, okay, this didn't work, next one. And sometimes I meet creators who do daily uploads and daily vlogs, and they're vlogging their life and they're making reels, and the reel cut is not the same as the YouTube cut, and one video to put per week. I'm like, what to do? Like, I just don't think this is perfect. I think they'll hate it. Like, am I not funny anymore? Have I never been funny? Like, am I just a fraud and the imposter syndrome sets in? Yeah, these are all such first world problems, but
but I like, maybe because I'm also a content creator, I can
You get
like
it?
I really do get it.
Yeah.
But like when you're on your phone and social media is your quote unquote job, like you tend to think
yeah.
scrolling on it is
Yeah.
market research.
Yeah, dude, when my screen time is like 18 hours, I'm like,
I was working.
I was working. What do you mean? I'm on Instagram, it's my office. So, I'm such a hard worker.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That sucks.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks to be us.
This coming from a place of privilege, we know.
No, but this is coming from a place of self-awareness. We know.
Self-awareness, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, not feeling good enough. Like you think like, yeah, I'll leave a comment. Why will they see? We're seeing. Good ones we won't see. Okay, bad ones. One also is there. We're like, why this person said this? Yeah. Oh my God. And you would have thought about it for 10 seconds, but trust me, we're thinking about it for 10 days.
100% agree.
Yeah.
I'm on you with this one. I actually like started studying because I like also burnt out a lot when I was doing it full time. I was just like, I can't do it full time. Like, I really can't. I need to do other things. And you did manage to somehow compartmentalize all of it. And how did you ever manage to like...
Dude, I constantly burnt out. Constantly. Every other week. I didn't even know like a human being is capable of burning out that frequently, honestly. Because you're trying to do both things at the same time. And you're putting pressure on yourself for both things. And you will not have a social life at all if you're serious about both. And then you start feeling lonely. Then you start feeling like, why am I even doing this? And then that one bad comment out of like a sea of thousands of good ones is enough to tick you off and make you feel like,
I was never worth it in the first place.
yes.
Like, all of this is just a stroke of luck and I got lucky. And like,
Yeah.
this doesn't matter.
Yeah. But you know what? The amazing thing is when you get over it, when you power through it and you do better, you're still winning.
Yeah.
And you're still getting through it.
It's actually a mental exercise, how much like
truly
you have
is.
to like live in your own head.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you create content.
And especially when you're a people pleaser, right? Like, I feel like when you're a public figure, you are a people pleaser. You have to be, because you seek external validation.
Oh,
and you want
100%.
people to love you. So, irrespective of what you say, you are a people pleaser.
And
because
you're a
you want
comic
people to
as
like
well,
you.
you know, you're a-
Yeah, you want people to laugh, you want people to love you.
yeah.
So, you are a people pleaser. So, when people are not pleased, it really hurts your soul.
Yeah.
And it could be just a piece of content for someone, but you're really, you know, deeply rooted childhood trauma, I think. The people pleasing comes from never being accepted as
Never being
a
enough.
chubby kid in school, being bullied, you know. That's where it usually stems. For me personally, I'm not saying for everyone. I don't know your story, so it could be different for you. But it usually comes from not feeling good enough,
Yeah.
that you want everybody to like you.
Yeah.
And yeah, but after a point you'll hit a point where you just won't care for a while.
Yeah.
You will still have bad days. One day it'll get to you, but you'll get past that way faster than you did before.
So you've done this for a long time, okay? Like an extremely long time. And I am excited to watch your film because I'm sure a lot of films would have come your way before even you picked this film. You know, I'm sure of it. Like, I don't need to like ask you. I just know. You know, and
Too much inside info she has. Yeah.
no, like, I just know how it works, right?
Right,
Because once you have like a certain amount of like people following you,
Yeah.
you'll get like a bunch of these emails. I get some of these as well, you know.
Yeah.
So I just, and some of my friends who are also content creators also get them. So when you pick something for the first time when you're doing it,
Yeah.
it should be like really good, you know,
Yeah.
and it should satisfy everything that you want to do. So What was it about like picking your first film that was like, yes, I'm going to do this?
Firstly, it's an ensemble with extremely funny people. And I feel like an ensemble is the safest bet because you don't have to carry too much of the weight of the film. And as a creator, when you transition into an actor, I feel like you're mostly put in a box of certain types of roles. Where they're basically trying to put you in your place, right? Like where you're like either the heroine's best friend or, you know. I always enjoyed acting, which is what I essentially do on reels or like skits. I like on YouTube, I used to play the dad and the mom and the boyfriend and the girlfriend and like just, you know. I was very clear with one thing. I was never desperate to be an actor. Like it wasn't like I have to be one at some point. I had my own platform where I was doing it. So I enjoyed it. And when a few projects did come my way and I felt like I would add no value to this project except the marketing pony that you'll use me as once the film comes out, I would just say no. Because I truly feel like anybody could play that role, you know. With Perisir, I was... it's a dark comedy, and I've never explored dark comedy because I'm so PG-13 on the internet. And it was the most bizarre 2 lines I've ever heard about a story. Like when they told me the 2-liner of the story, I was like, "You're joking! Like they're making this in Tamil. Like Tamil cinema is like this concept is going to exist." And they were like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Y'all are crazy," and I'm in. So yeah, it felt so risky, the whole concept, and I was so excited about it.
Yeah.
Strange concept, just strange story, and I'm strange, so it felt like a perfect fit.
What does it feel like from going to doing like movie promotions to
Promoting my own film?
Must feel crazy, no?
Yeah, I don't think it's hit me yet because I'm so numb. I feel like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like as a creator or like when you start off from like a background that's so far removed from entertainment, you don't even have the audacity to dream that big, right? Like it's very like you're told that you can only dream
This much.
you know, within this little pie chart, but that doesn't even make sense. Anyway, you know, this box, you know, and they say dream big, but auqaat mein dream big. And I never even dreamt this dream because it just felt so impossible. And yeah, and now that it's happening, I don't know how to feel actually. Like I feel like 16-year-old me really, maybe I would go easy on her. I would be like, dude, like it's fine. You'll be okay. You don't have to like, I don't know, like crucify yourself so much for one scene, one beat in that little YouTube video not being okay. But long journey, man. Like like it's exhausting, but also so worth it. And I'm just really glad I get to do different things now. You know? Yeah.
Compartmentalizing.
Truly.
Yeah, I genuinely think you're so cool because the journey that you had is like so inspiring to me because it isn't like overnight, you know. Like there are like moments in the journey where it's like, oh, it sucks and it's going all bad, and then it's like one good thing, and then like, okay, fine, like nothing next, and then like one good thing, and like now you're actually like in a place where you have a film coming out, you're literally Niharika, you know, and people love you on the internet, and it's like, man, that's a story to tell, you know.
Man, I don't know what to say. I'm feeling shy. I'm like, please stop it. Okay.
No, but Najama, like I wanted to do I think everybody wanted to do a YouTube channel back in the day. You know?
It was a thing.
It was a thing. And you did it, you know. When we all wanted to do it, you did it. And then you continued to do it. And you continued to do it for so long. And coming this far is actually so nice to see because it just shows how much, like, as a creator that you can actually, like, do. Like, how much of your dreams that you can actually achieve by just doing this.
Thank you.
And doing it being yourself.
Man, it's scary being yourself because suddenly if they hate you, you don't know if they hate the content or you, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. So when you decided that it was going to be like content creation and acting, I really do want to ask this question because it's like not like a proper final question, but what made you decide that this like routes that you're taking is what you want to do? Like what about it was like, I need to do this?
I've just done content for so long that I feel like it doesn't creatively challenge me anymore. Because when I do try to make something different content-wise, people don't enjoy it. They want the same format, or they expect the same,
Okay.
let's say, version of me. Because if you kind of change, they're like, oh, you've changed now, and I get it, but I'm also growing up. And the thing is, when you start so young on the internet, you don't get to make your mistakes without being seen. Like they see all your mistakes, they see all your phases. They see you pre-puberty, post-puberty. Like when you've literally grown up on the internet, it's just I think it's hard for me to truly understand. It was hard for me to truly understand what I'd like to do, because after a point I was like, what would they like to see? And I stopped enjoying what I was doing on the internet, and I was trying to find a way out of it. And Perisse happened, and I'm also trying to make content in a different format now. Something that I'm excited about again, because I don't know. I feel like we all need to evolve. Right now, everybody's making rants. Everybody's making the same type of, format sketches on the internet, and it doesn't feel new. I feel like I can open a reel, watch somebody else's reel, and be like, I think I also made one like this, or am I going to make one like this? You just don't know. It's all the same. So I think I want to do something fresh, and I did Perisse, which is a comedy film. I'm doing another comedy film in Telugu. We're doing one in Kannada. We have 3 more lined up with Stonebench itself, who produced Perisse, which are, I did step into this with the comedy, but we're doing different genres. I get to explore what it is like to express other emotions. That's not just me making silly faces or being really loud or angry or, So, yeah, I think just being able to do new things is exciting now, because I've done the same thing in different ways or packaged it differently for a decade now. And I feel like I'm stuck personal growth wise. So I'm just trying to evolve into Raichu.
That's a good one. Actually, you are Ash, if you think about it.
Am I? Gotta catch them all?
Yeah.
Thank you. Am I not Misty?
No, you
Okay,
are
I'm
Ash.
Ash. Stop it.
Because like all the celebrities that you have on your reels, they're all like, gotta get them all.
That's a good one. They're all my Pokemon. Hey, my debut might be coming out today, but I debuted all of them on Reels. So I guess I am Ash.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on this.
Thank you so much for having me.
I personally, whenever I see like a really successful creator, like the thing about like a really successful mainstream creator is that a lot of people tend to like hate on them, because they're like, everybody knows them. It's like easy to call them overrated. But for me, like when I see like a creator, maybe because I'm sitting in a different kind of shoe,
Shoe?
Like as in like the kind of like
Got it. Yeah. Why is it got a shoe?
like a different seat, I think. I don't know, a different lens, I would say. I see them with like so much awe, because I know the kind of like mental work it takes. It doesn't look like a lot when you're like putting it on paper, especially like if you're just scrolling through it. There's like so much like you can just scroll through, but each comedy reel takes like so much scripting and thinking about like what's funny, and like I have like a deep like the respect for like people who make comedy content in general.
Me too.
Like
Yeah.
all of them deserve like one tight hug for what they do, because you have to be consistently funny.
Yeah.
You have to make jokes. People should like them, because that's what being funny is, people liking what you're saying,
Yeah.
And when I see someone like you, like who's had this enormous growth and such a great career trajectory, it looks bright. The future looks bright.
You're just so nice. I don't know what to say only. Usually one punch here or there I'll get, but I have nothing to say to you. But thank you. Like, you've been nothing but so nice. And I truly see everything you're saying happening for you as well.
No,
you just gotta keep at it. No, don't shy away from it. Like, own it. Like, it will happen. It just takes patience, time, consistency, heartbreak, sadness. But
Yeah.
if you stick with it, like, dude, if I can do it, anybody can do it, is what I feel. Because who am I? Like, I didn't come with anything special. Truly, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I believe that. A, B, C, D. D ko change kar lo, not dance, but with that mocker joke, this episode comes to an end. What's your outro? Like, share, subscribe.
No, I never say
India.
that.
You're a YouTuber and you don't say it. Dude, she doesn't know how to do CTA, okay? Like, if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up.
No.
Leave a comment below and tell us
Nobody says
what
that
you would have
anymore.
added. That's why I quit YouTube. Fine, nobody says that anymore. Okay. What do you guys say? Just bye?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, people already know what the like button is, what the subscribe button is. Why do I have to tell them? Like, they know it.
Cocky. Okay. We have to beg, ma. This much we did for 1 hour. Please, we're like, please, appadi sonnada, chapavam, they'll feel and do. Let me teach you that if there's anything to take away, always be like, please. Like,
Okay.
if you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a
Thumbs up.
leave a comment.
Leave a comment down below. A
See,
good
down
one.
below solo kodade. Down below same. Whenever YouTubers say this, I'm like, down below is the same thing. Leave a comment below. Illa, leave a comment downstairs. Okay? And share
Okay, I'll
on
say
your Instagram this link.
I'll say it again. Like my like my video. Okay, hold on.
இந்த யூடியூப் புதுசா
இல்ல தானே.
என்ன?
நான் பண்ணதே இல்ல.
ஓ பண்ணணும் அதான் என்ன நீ உன்னை பார்த்து கத்துக்கிட்ட இதெல்லாம் சொல்லிட்டு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இதான் கத்துக்கணும் மேக் ஷூர் டு கிவ் இட் 3 தடவை சொல்ல you say now.
Okay, make sure to give this a like or share it with your friends, you know, the ones who love Niharika, because I know you got some friends who would love Niharika. No, I'll do that again. Make sure
1 hour conversation no retake ஒரு லைக் கொடுங்க சொல்றதுக்கு 10 retake நீ சொல்லுமா
Okay. Like this video. முடியல Niharika. I don't know why it's not
லைக்கே பண்ணாதீங்க ஓகே அப்படியே விட்டுடுங்க எங்கேஜ் பண்ணாதீங்க பார்க்காதீங்க லைக் பண்ணாதீங்க காமெண்ட் விடாதீங்க அப்படியே just bye I guess.
Yeah.
Bye.
That's it for this video, guys. That's my outro.
That's it for this video.
guys.
Okay.
That's it for this video.
Okay.
I'll see you all in the next one.
Okay.
Like அடுத்த வாரம் பார்க்கலாம் அந்த
அடுத்த
மாதிரி.
வாரம் பார்க்கலாம்
அடுத்த வாரம் பார்க்கலாம்.
on
Fries with potato.
on Sun TV. Yeah.
That is also there. Okay. Bye. Thank you so much for. Okay, let me do it properly. Hold on.
One eternity later.
Let me do my first CTA on YouTube. Okay? And it's with Niharika. Hi guys, and
எப்படிமா இவ்வளவு தூரம் வந்த எங்க வீடியோ பார் சொல்ல வரல உனக்கு வீடியோ போடுற ஓகே என்னங்க ஒரு லைக் பண்ணுங்க இல்லன்னா ஒரு ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க இல்லன்னா ஒரு காமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க ஒரு ஹார்ட் சிம்பிள் அந்த ஃபயர் கூட இருக்கும் அது போடுங்க
Yeah.
இல்லன்னா எதுக்கு பாத்தீங்க 1 hour ஏதாச்சும் பண்ணுங்க thank you bye இப்போ சொல்லு bye that's it for this video
Okay, I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Worst outro person I've seen